بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم. ناظرین، میں ڈاکٹر غلام مجتبہ آپ کو پروگرام جائزہ میں ویلکم کرتا ہوں، اور آج ہم گفتگو کریں گے اسامہ بن لادن کی ہلاکت، اس کے نتیجے میں پیدا ہونے والے حالات جو پاکستان امریکہ کے تعلقات کے اندر حائل ہیں، اور آئندہ دنوں میں ہم پاکستان امریکہ کے حالات کو کس طرح دیکھتے ہیں اس تناظر میں کہ اسامہ بن لادن اس وقت اس دنیا سے جا چکا ہے. ناظرین، اس سلسلے میں بہت سے پہلو ہیں. سب سے پہلا پہلو یہ ہے کہ اسامہ بن لادن کی ہلاکت کیسے ہوئی، اور اس سے بھی پہلے ایک پہلو اور ہے جو ہماری عوام یہ سوچتی ہے اور یہ سمجھتی ہے، اور کہیں نہ کہیں یہ کانسپریسی تھیوری ایگزسٹ کرتی ہے کہ اسامہ بن لادن اس سے پہلے ہلاک ہو چکا تھا، اور یہ خبریں بے بنیاد ہیں. اور یہ گفتگو عام طور سے سڑکوں پہ گلیوں میں سننے میں آئی کہ اسامہ بن لادن کی ہلاکت کی تصدیق کسی طرح اس بات سے نہیں کی جا سکتی کہ امریکن سیلز پاکستان کے اندر آئے، ہیلی کاپٹرز لے کر آئے. 4 ہیلی کاپٹر میں سے 1 ہیلی کاپٹر ضائع کر دیا گیا اور 3 ہیلی کاپٹر سے وہ واپس چلے گئے. ہماری عوام یہ جاننا چاہتی ہے کہ اس کے اندر کہاں تک صداقت ہے. کیا ہم اس بات کو پرائما فیسی تسلیم کر لیں کہ جو بات کہی گئی ہے اور جو بات امریکن ایڈمنسٹریشن نے کہی ہے، جو بات پریزیڈنٹ اوباما نے کہی ہے، وہ بات حقیقت پر مبنی ہے یا نہیں ہے؟ تو سب سے پہلے ہماری گفتگو اس بات پر ہوگی کہ یہ واقعہ ہوا یا نہیں ہوا، واقعتاً اس ہلاکت کی تصدیق ہے یا نہیں ہے. اور اس کے بعد ہم یہ گفتگو کریں گے کہ پاکستان کی انٹیلیجنس اس وقت کہاں تھی جب پاکستان کی حدود کے اندر 4 امریکی ہیلی کاپٹرز آئے. کیا پاکستان کی انٹیلیجنس کو اس بات کی اطلاع تھی؟ کیا ہمارے ایئر کنٹرول ٹاورز، ہمارے ادارے ان تمام چیزوں کو نوٹ کر رہے تھے جو پاکستان ایئر اسپیس کی وائلیشن ہو رہی تھی؟ کیا ہمارے ادارے اس بات سے واقف تھے کہ فورن ٹروپس پاکستان کے اندر اپنی ایکٹیویٹی اور ایکشن کر رہے ہیں؟ یہ ایک بہت بڑا سوال ہے، اور یہ وہ سوالات ہیں جو پاکستان کی پارلیمنٹ سے لے کر پاکستان کی گلیوں اور سڑکوں میں ڈسکس ہو رہے ہیں. لیکن کیا یہ سوالات امریکہ کی گلیوں اور سڑکوں میں ڈسکس ہو رہے ہیں کہ یہ واقعہ واقعتاً ہوا یا نہیں ہوا؟ کیا اوباما کے مخالف لوگ جو کہ ڈیموکریٹس کے مخالف ہیں، یعنی ریپبلکن پارٹی کو بلانگ کرتے ہیں، کیا وہ اسامہ کو الیکشن میں ڈیفیٹ دینے کے لیے اس قسم کی کانسپریسی تھیوریز کو سڑکوں پہ لا رہے ہیں؟ اور اگر نہیں لا رہے ہیں تو اس کی کیا وجہ ہے؟ اور اس کی کیا وجہ ہے کہ یہ ساری کانسپریسی تھیوریز پاکستان میں ہی جنم لے رہی ہے؟ چنانچہ آج بہت سے سوالات کا جواب ہم آج اس پروگرام میں دیں گے، اور ہم یہ بھی بتائیں گے کہ پاکستان اور امریکہ کے تعلقات کو استوار کرنے کا کون سا راستہ ہے. آج اپنی اس گفتگو کے اندر جن مہمانوں کو میں نے شریک گفتگو کیا ہے، ان میں سب سے پہلے گیسٹ ہمارے پروفیسر ڈاکٹر پیٹر بیلی، ریجنل ہیڈ ہیں رائل کالج آف گائنیکالوجی انگلینڈ کے، اور آپ پروفیسر ہیں بقائی میڈیکل یونیورسٹی میں اس وقت. کچھ گفتگو میں انگریزی میں کروں گا چونکہ ہمارے مہمان اردو سمجھ تو یقیناً سکتے ہیں کسی حد تک، لیکن جواب ان کو انگریزی میں دینا ہوگا. تو ناظرین، آپ کو یہ بیئر کرنا پڑے گا کہ کچھ پارٹ اس پروگرام کا انگریزی کے اندر بھی ہوگا. پروفیسر ڈاکٹر پیٹر بیلی، آئی ویلکم یو ٹو دا پروگرام. اس کے بعد ہمارے دوسرے گیسٹ ہیں اس وقت لیفٹیننٹ کرنل ریٹائرڈ محمد ظفر صاحب. آپ کا تعلق ایجوکیشن کے شعبے سے اس وقت ہے، اور آپ کا بڑا اچھا تجزیہ ہے ملکی اور انٹرنیشنل حالات پہ. اس سے پہلے بھی کئی ٹی وی پروگرامز میں شریک ہوتے رہے. میں آپ کو بھی کرنل ظفر صاحب ویلکم کرتا ہوں اس پروگرام کے اندر. Before going into the details, Professor Peter Belly, let me ask you a question here. Do you think that the action that has been taken by the American SEALs in eliminating Osama bin Laden, was it a failure on the part of Pakistan intelligence? How would you take up this issue? And was it justified to take an action without informing the Pakistan government, and the government was informed after the whole things happened? How do you look to these things, not with a Pakistani eye? Not with a Pakistani eye. Although you're living in this country for 10 years, and certainly you have sympathy for this country, but how would you take this thing if you are an American? How would you look to these things?
Oh, the Americans view it very differently. And of course, everybody believes what they want to believe. That the burden of proof is very different. So the Americans view it as very necessary. The Pakistanis view it as very unnecessary.
Yes.
And the answer, the correct approach is, what would we do differently next time? Not simply saying we wouldn't allow it to happen next time. You've got to prevent it from happening mutually, bilaterally, and in international interests, including Pakistan's.
But the question here is, Peter, that the 9/11 incident happened.
Yes.
And it was a great disaster.
Yes.
Osama bin Laden attacked the economic might of the United States,
Correct.
the icon of the economy. That is the World Trade Center in New York. And that was not acceptable as an American, that
Correct.
something could happen that way. And the American public opinion certainly went totally against the government as to why did this happen. Now, coming to that, the 9/11 issue, what we see is that the aeroplanes took off from New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and other places.
Boston.
And there were so many air control towers to notice the movement of those aeroplanes. And according to the FAA regulation, the Federal Aviation Agency Administration's requirement, that if it deviates 15 degrees or 10 degrees or certain degrees from the route, then the Air Force has to be informed. The Air Force should come up to rescue and shot down an aeroplane which is deviating from its route. That's FAA regulation. Why did the control towers did not respond to so many airplanes, and why was that not noticed by the control towers at that time in 9/11?
Well, they were. It's just the more loops you have into an effective action.
Exactly, Peter. The thing is, those loops, that means there was a failure of intelligence. Things did happen, the intelligence was poor, and that led to the 9/11 disaster. Now, keeping that in mind, that the intelligence failure did happen in the very incident of 9/11, then there were intelligence failures afterwards. And what were those intelligence failures? One, when we all knew that Osama bin Laden is in Afghanistan, and in Afghanistan we could have taken a step to eliminate him, and we lost so many opportunities to eliminate him. That was again a failure on the part of the intelligence. All intelligence agencies, I'm not talking about American intelligence, about all the allied intelligence, they lost the opportunity to kill Osama bin Laden for so many years living in Afghanistan. Now, those opportunities were lost while he was in Afghanistan, and when he came to Pakistan for the last 4 or 5 years, as we know now, the intelligence failure was on the part of Pakistan primarily. But how about those intelligence failures that did happen prior to 2005? Those were the Karzai's intelligence agencies, the Afghanistan intelligence agencies. Where were they at that time? They have been heavily paid by the United States administration and by the United States policymakers in Afghanistan to run the affairs and to run the show. Why did their intelligence fail? Why the intelligence failed in Afghanistan, and for so many years Osama was not captured and was not captured alive? We had so many opportunities. So I don't think so it's fair to blame Pakistan's intelligence agencies just by saying that you lost an opportunity you did not know for so many years, and you should have known it because we were supporting you and we were giving you dollars to help that out. Why this money was not being given to Afghanis, and why they did not capture him? That's another question, a counter question on that. Now, coming to that, how do you take up the intelligence failures yourself? The intelligence failures on both parts.
Well, the point is, we've got an awful amount of IT surveillance. There's a mountain of information. The problem is to process it effectively.
Why did Pakistan fail?
Well, Pakistan, we simply don't know, but that must be part of the answer.
What do you think, Colonel Zafar? Why did Pakistan fail in the intelligence for so many years when Osama was in Pakistan?
Well, it's very difficult to answer this question as to why did they fail, but then the fact is that they did. And maybe we were surprised in the sense that whenever we were not, maybe there was some sort of a barrier to understanding this, because it is on record that a number of times the Afghan government, they indicated their complete faith in the fact that Osama was not in Afghanistan.
But the question is that if the Afghan intelligence officer comes in now and says that I told Musharraf in 2005 that he is in Abbottabad, in that vicinity, and we have intelligence sources saying that Osama bin Laden is there, why didn't the agencies, including the international agencies, did not act in 2005? Why they had to wait after so many years to take an action, when they precisely knew through the Afghan intelligence agencies that Osama bin Laden is in the north of Pakistan and at this particular location? Why there was a default on that?
Well, this is very hard to explain, really, because
So
but the point
here
is that we psychologically we were not prepared to accept this situation.
No, I don't think so. What I would disagree on that with dear viewers is there is one very important factor here, and that is the first drones were shot down in somewhere in the vicinity of Bahawalpur in the year 2002-2003. And then drone attacks were allowed to take place in the geographical boundaries of Pakistan. So Pakistan was working in coordination with the US forces. And the presence of the US forces in Pakistan and Pakistan's joint effort in capturing Osama bin Laden became the main reason of the disillusionment. Had Pakistan had to take an action by itself, it would have taken all action on anything entering Pakistan aerospace. Let me tell you, if there was a single bird flying into the Pakistan aerospace without permission, the bird would have been shot down. But there was a confusion here. People in Pakistan and Pakistan's intelligence agencies would not know if this bird is an enemy or a friendly bird coming into Pakistan. And that made the whole thing confused. It was not a failure, I think, in my opinion, on the intelligence agencies of Pakistan. I think Pakistan Air Force Chief told the media, or their representative said that, and I read this statement in the newspapers, that Pakistan Air Force knew the violation of Pakistan's Air Force, the airspace. Now again, the question is, was this a violation? I don't think so it was a violation. The violation means that something breaking international law. Yes, if there is an international law involved in breaking this was a violation into Pakistan's airspace. But to me, it was not a violation of Pakistan's airspace, because the Security Council resolutions authorized the United States to take unilateral action where and when Osama bin Laden is found, and that gave the mandate to the American forces to take an action. So I think this should not be disputed, that Pakistan's airspace was violated, and there could be a number of opinions on this, and there could be a lot of analysts and politicians who would say that this was a violation of the airspace. If this was a violation of Pakistan's airspace, Pakistan has a right to go to the Security Council and raise this question. But if Osama bin Laden was the mastermind of 9/11, for all the losses that the United States did bear, then certainly the United States had the right to take an action against Osama bin Laden, and anyone providing refuge to Osama bin Laden is responsible for it. But Pakistan is not the one that has provided refuge to Osama bin Laden. I must make it very clear. Pakistan did not know his presence because of so many disillusionment in the whole case, because of so many confusions in the whole case. Pakistan would not know if the airstrikes are done by the friendly forces or by the enemy forces. If the air action is being taken by the friendly forces or by the enemy forces, Pakistan would not know about it. And had this been known to the Karzai administration had the resources and had the support to take an action at that time in 2005. And why was that elapsed for so many years? Now, coming to the next question, dear viewers, do you feel, Colonel Zafar, that ISI, the Pakistan's lead intelligence agency, is somewhere deficient in its action?
Well, failure is not so uncommon in intelligence agencies. They keep on failing everywhere. It's not a new thing. You know, for
Absolutely.
example,
If 9/11
in our own case, in 1965, a whole armored division was marched out of place in central India to Sialkot front without us knowing it, and it was just lucky that we got hold of a DR,
I think you're
dispatch
very
rider.
right, and our viewers will agree on that, that if ISI would not know about that, the CIA also did not know the 9/11 thing. The
That's
FBI
true.
did not know 9/11. That does not mean that the CIA chief had to resign because of 9/11. That does not mean that the FBI chief had to resign because of 9/11. And I don't think so. It is a right statement on behalf of the politicians in Pakistan to compel the ISI leadership to resign or to come to task. That's absolutely rubbish. This has never happened in any international case. And dear viewers, we'll take a break here and we'll come back after a commercial break. Thank you.